Hare Krishna, Lovesh Prabhu, you are on mute, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So, Lovesh Prabhu is a very sincere devotee, has been serving the lordships from a long time. He works in the airport and he and his wife serves all the devotees with the prasadam. Whoever is going to the airport and coming back, lots of prasadam. Very humble family, devotee family, and always service oriented. And we are thankful for his association, and we are eagerly waiting for hearing from his guest Lovesh Prabhu. Thank you very much. Lovesh Prabhu, you can start. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Pranam. Praveen Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, your audio I can't hear. Can you check, please?
Give me 1 minute.
Oh,
two connections.
Yes. Yeah, I can hear Prabhuji. Sorry, I'm on mute. Can you guys hear me, right, Prabhuji?
Yes, Prabhu, we can hear you.
Yes,
Prabhu, we can hear you.
We can hear you, Prabhuji. Sorry, my mic and my speaker is mute. Yeah, I can hear you, Prabhuji.
I'm audible sufficiently, Prabhuji?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. So thank you very much, Prabhuji, for giving me opportunity. Praveen Prabhu, Subara Prabhuji, all the devotees. Please bless me that I'll be able to utilize your time properly now. Okay. Prabhuji, we will start with Jai Radha Madhav Kirtan.
Yes, please go ahead.
Yes. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Piyana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Yashodanandana
Prabhu, lowest Prabhu, Kartal is dominating everything, Prabhu.
Lovesh Prabhuji,
Yes, Prabhuji.
we couldn't hear you, Prabhuji. It's only the Kartal voice we could hear.
Okay, one second.
Loud.
I'll turn on this Bluetooth one. Take a second.
Yes, yes. And maybe you can play slow, Kartal, and mic near to
Kartal is located closer to the mic of the computer, basically. That's dominating.
Yes. Sorry, Prabhuji. Sorry to interrupt.
Hare Krishna. Now I think you can hear me better.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Prabhuji. Sorry for this inconvenience. Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, today the verse which I choose is Canto 12, Chapter 3, verse 52. Can you? I share my screen, or you can share your screen?
You can share your screen, Prabhu.
One second, I'm opening. Okay. Where is the screen share option? Prabhuji, one second. Check now. Let me check. Screen share. Yes. Okay. Can you all see my screen now?
Yes, Prabhu.
51. Verse number 51. One second. Actually, I'm not very regular in this. Yes. So I'll recite the verse. You can repeat before me. Kale dosha nidhe rajan asti hai eko mahan guna kirtanayad eva krishnasya mukta sangha param brajet.
कलेर्दोषा निधे राजन् अस्ति हि एको महागुणा कीर्तनाद् एव कृष्णस्य मुक्तसंगा परं व्रजेत्.
Krishna. Anybody else want to recite once?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I'll recite.
Yes, Mataji, please.
कलेर्दोषानिधे राजन् अस्ति हि एको महान् गुणः कृतानादेव कृष्णस्य मुक्तसङ्गः परं व्रजेत्.
Translation. My dear king, although Kali Yuga is an ocean of faults, there is still one good quality about this age. Simply by chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, one can become free from the material bondage and be promoted to the transcendental kingdom. Purport. After mentioning the innumerable faults of this age of Kali, Sukdev Goswami now mentions its one brilliant aspect. Just as one powerful king can kill innumerable thieves, one brilliant spiritual quality can destroy all the contamination of this age. It is impossible to overestimate the importance of chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, especially in this fallen age. So Prabhuji will recite the prayers now, general prayers. Okay, can you see the prayers now in your screen?
Not yet, Prabhuji, not yet. Have you shared the prayers?
Actually, in my laptop, I can see it.
Prabhuji, you need to share the whole screen. Probably you share the window. So can you check?
Okay, one second. Screen share. Prayers. Share. Yes. Okay. Om Ajnanatimidandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Thapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kadamayam Tadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamlam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha
श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान् सहगना ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेशा गोपिता कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते सप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि और भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवती नैष्ठिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविंदाय नमो नमः। नमो पंकजनाभाय नमः पंकजमालिने नमः पंकजनेत्राय नमस्ते पंकजांग्रहे। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामने गौरत्वैषे नमः। नमो ब्राह्मण्याय देवाय गो ब्राह्मणा हिताय च जगदिताय कृष्णाय गोविंदाय नमो नमः। नमः ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमती भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी इति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तविंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। पातमहं वंदे श्री गुरु दीनतारिणं परमानंद माधव। So Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, today we will read from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 12, Chapter 3. Chapter 3 is entitled Bhumi Gita. So actually, what I understand, this chapter is about the mirror, because we can easily relate to our present condition. I will try to change the screen now. One second. New share. Yes. Canto 12, Chapter 3, Bhumi Gita. So here, Bhumi Devi is describing about the present situation of Kali Yuga and what are the faults and what are the good qualities in Kali Yuga. So even in Kali Yuga, there are a lot of good qualities. We will see now as we today's discussion will be mostly about reading the Bhagavatam. We'll read and we'll discuss along. Okay, Prabhuji. So Bhumi Gita. This chapter describes how the earth took note of the foolishness of many kings bent on conquering her. It also describes how even though the age of Kali Yuga is full of faults, the glorification of the name of Lord Hari destroys them all. Great kings who are actually just plaything of death desires to subdue their 6 internal enemies, 5 senses and the mind, and afterward they imagine they will go on to conquer the earth and all of its oceans. Seeing their false hopes, the earth simply laughs, for eventually they all must leave this planet and go elsewhere, as have all the great kings and monarchs of the past. Moreover, after usurping the earth or some part of it, which is actually unconquerable and must in every case be given up, fathers, sons, brothers, friends, and relatives quarrel over it. Thus, the study of history naturally leads to the conclusion that all worldly achievements are temporary, and this conclusion should give rise to the sense of renunciation. Ultimately, the highest goal of life for any living entity is pure devotion to Lord Krishna, which annihilates all inauspiciousness. In the age of Satya, religion was complete, still possessing its four legs of truth, mercy, austerity, and charity. With the coming of each succeeding age, starting with Treta, these religious qualities each diminished by 1/4. In Kali Yuga, the legs of religion retain only 1/4 of their power, and even that will be lost with the progress of the age. The mode of goodness is predominant during Satya Yuga, and the mode of passion is predominant during the Treta Yuga. The mixed modes of passion and ignorance are predominant during Dwapar Yuga, and in the age of Kali is the mode of ignorance is predominant. Atheism, the smallness and inferiority of all things, and devotion to the genitals and belly are very much evident in the age of Kali. Living entities contaminated by the influence of Kali do not worship the Supreme Lord. Sri Hari, even though they can be freed from all bondages and easily achieve the supreme destination simply by chanting the glories of his name and taking shelter of him, but if somehow or other the Supreme Personality of Godhead become manifested within the hearts of the conditioned soul in Kali Yuga, then all faults of place, time, and personalities inherent in the age will be destroyed. Kali Yuga is an ocean of faults, but it possesses one great quality. Simply by chanting of the name of Krishna, one can be delivered from the material association and attain the absolute truth. All that was accomplished in the age of Satya by meditation, in the age of Treta by sacrificial performances, and in the age of Dwapara by temple worship is easily gained during the Kali Yuga by simply process of Hari Kirtana. So, Prabhuji and Mataji, this text, 12th canto is translated in English by the disciples of Prabhupada, since Prabhupada has left the planet. And now we will see how Bhagavatam is showing us the mirror. Actually, it was written 5,000 years ago by Vyasadeva. But if you read it now, we will see that how perfectly the predictions given and the translation and the purport by the disciples which have been given of Prabhupada disciples, they are given in such a nice way that we can easily correlate to our present situation. And also we will came to know about that how Prabhupada has started the ISKCON movement in such a scientific way as per the Bhagavatam, that if we just simply follow the standard given in ISKCON, like our morning session, Mangalarti, chanting, Bhagavatam and reading, Bhagavatam hearing, and then we can go for work. And in the evening, again, we come back to temple and again engage in devotional service activities. So this is how easily Prabhupada has made this system that if just one person just simply follow it, so he or she can easily just conquer the Kali Yuga effects easily and just go back to home, back to Godhead. So just by reading this chapter, or just by listening to this chapter, we will have our faith increase in such a way about Prabhupada and his movement that which is beyond any comparison. Because now the other stories in Bhagavatam are for different yugas, but now this is in our present yuga, present time, present circumstances. We can very easily correlate to this. And now we'll read first translation. Sukdev Goswami said, seeing the kings of this earth busy trying to conquer her, the earth herself laughed. She said, just see how these kings, who are actually playthings in the hand of death, are desiring to conquer me. So actually, this is earth is telling about all of us. We all are trying to conquer the things in this world, our property, our this. But earth is laughing that so many kings are done in the past, so many people are doing now, and they all are just puppets in the hand of death. So soon we will all go away. Another next, earth is telling, great rulers of men, even those who are learned, meet frustration and failure because of material lust. Driven by lust, these kings place great hope and faith in the dead lump of flesh called the body, even though the material frame is as fleeting as bubbles of foam on water. So dead lump of flesh, like we all know that there are two things which God created, Krishna created. One is material, one is spiritual. So only the spiritual things are living. all the material things are dead. For example, we all own a car. Most of us own a car, but car is a dead matter. But as soon as a human, any person gets inside and start the car and start driving it, car becomes live. So any dead material becomes live as soon as it comes in contact with the spirit. So similarly, our body, the body we all possess, is a dead matter. But as long as the soul is there, spirit is there, because of the presence of spirit, that body appears to be live. But Earth is telling that the kings in the Kali Yuga, they all are attached to the body. So, and body is nothing but a dead lump of matter, just dead lump of matter. Next, we will see. Kings and politicians imagine, first I will conquer my senses and mind, then I will subdue my chief ministers and rid myself of the thorn pricks of my advisors, citizens, friends, and relatives, as well as the keepers of my elephants. In this way, I will gradually conquer the entire earth. Because the hearts of these leaders are bound by great expectations, they fail to see death waiting nearby. So purport disciples are telling us to satisfy their greed for power, determined politicians, dictators, and military leaders undergo severe austerities and sacrifice with much self-discipline. Then they lead their great nation in a struggle to conquer the sea, land, air, and space. Although the politicians and their followers will soon be dead, since birth and death are all inevitable in this world, they persist in their frenetic struggle for ephemeral glory. So now we can easily correlate in the today's world. We all are, most of us people living on this planet right now, this is their goal of life, to conquer, 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 and conquer. But ignorant of the fact that soon death will conquer us and all this conqueration will be held here, of no use. Next, Bhumi Devi is telling, after conquering all the land on my surface, these proud kings forcibly enter the ocean to conquer the sea itself. What is the use of their self-control, which is aimed at political exploitation? The actual goal of self-control is spiritual liberation. So this spiritual liberation is actually the thing which is unknown to the most of the population in Kali Yuga. O best of the Kurus, the earth continues as follows. Although in the past great men and their descendants have left me, departing from this world in the same helpless way they came into it, even today foolish men are trying to conquer me. So everybody wants to conquer something, but Bhumi Devi is laughing that people have come, they conquered something and they are left away. They are nowhere now. And now again people are, next generation coming and they try to conquer something and soon they all will be gone. Next, Bhumi Devi is telling, for the sake of conquering me, materialist persons fight one another. Fathers oppose their sons and brothers fight one another because their hearts are bound to possessing political powers. Next, Bhumi Devi is telling them, political leaders challenge one another. All this land is mine. It's not yours. You fool. Thus they attack one another and die. Now, purport mein Prabhupada disciples are telling us, this word describes with brilliant clarity the mundane political mentality that provokes innumerable conflicts in the world. For example, as we prepare this translation of Srimad Bhagavatam, British and Argentine military forces are bitterly fighting over the tiny Falkland Islands. The fact is that the Supreme Lord is the proprietor of all land. Of course, even in God consciousness world, political boundaries exist. But in such a God conscious atmosphere, political tensions are greatly eased and people of all lands welcome each other and respect each other's right to live in place. So Prabhupada disciples, he is telling that everything belongs to God. We all have read that shloka, Om Purnamada Purnamidam. So Krishna is complete and everything coming from him is complete. So Krishna is the actual proprietor of all the things in this world. But if people understand this thing, then political boundaries will be existing, but the tension will be lost. Even in today's world, we can see, like when this book was translated by Prabhupada disciples, they tell that that time British and Argentinian military forces were fighting for a small island, Falkland Island. And even today, we see that everywhere people throughout the world, they are just ready and to fight with each other and kill each other, just for small things. But they don't understand that soon they all will be finished. Such as So now Bhumi Devi is telling the names of so many kings already predicted 5,000 years ago. Such kings as Prithu, Pururava, Gadi, Nahusa, Bharata, Kartavya, Arjuna, Mandhala, Sagara, Rama, Khatvanga, Sundar, Raghu, Trinabindu, Yayati, Saryati, Sanatanu, Shantanu, Gaya, Bhagirata, Kuva Lakshava, Kakustata, Nashada, Nriga, Hiranyakashipu, Prita, Ravana, who made the whole world lament, Namuchi, Sambara, Bhauma, Hiranyaksha, and Taraka, as well as many other demons and kings who possess great powers of control over others, were all full of knowledge, heroic, all-conquering, and unconquerable. Nevertheless, O Almighty Lord, although they lived their lives intensely trying to possess me, these kings were subject to the passage of time, which reduced them to mere historical accounts. None of them could permanently establish their rule. So now Bhumi Devi is comparing that these all kings were existing in the present and they were much, much stronger than the people who are present right now. But where are these all people? They are no more. So Prabhupada disciples are telling us, according to Srila Sridhar Swami and as confirmed by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, the king Rama mentioned here is not the incarnation of Godhead Ramachandra. Prithu Maharaj is understood to be an incarnation of Supreme Personality of Godhead who completely exhibited the characteristics of an earthly king, claiming proprietorship over the entire earth. A saintly king like Prithu Maharaj, however, controls the earth on behalf of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whereas a demon such as Hiranyakashipu or Ravana tries to exploit the earth for his personal sense gratification. Nevertheless, both saintly kings and demons must leave the earth. In this way, their political supremacy is ultimately neutralized by the force of time. Modern political leaders cannot even temporarily control the entire earth, nor are their opulences and intelligence unlimited, possessing hopeless, fragmented power, enjoying a minuscule lifespan, and lacking deep existential intelligence. Modern leaders inevitably are symbols of frustration and misdirected ambition. So here Bhumi Devi is telling that in present time, in Kali Yuga, people don't have life as long as these kings used to have, and even they don't have powers as strong as these kings used to have. They don't even able to conquer the whole planet, but these kings were so great they have conquered the whole planet, but still they are no more now. And even today in Kali Yuga, people are not even 1% of these people, but still they have their they want to conquer the world and they want to become such a great people, but they don't know that time is the supreme powerful and soon they all will be finished. Sukdev Goswami said, O mighty Parikshit, I have related to you all the narrations of all these great kings who spread their fame throughout the world and then departed. My real purpose was to teach transcendental knowledge and renunciation. Stories of king-led power and opulence of these narrations, but do not in themselves constitute the ultimate aspect of knowledge. Now in 12th canto, Sukdev Goswami is telling all this to Parikshit Maharaj because time to depart for Parikshit is coming nearby. Almost 7 days are finished. Bhagavatam is going to end, and this why. So Sukdev Goswami want to give renunciation to Parikshit Maharaj in the last. Since all the narrations of Srimad Bhagavatam bring the reader to the perfection of transcendental knowledge, they all give supreme spiritual lessons through apparently dealing with the kings or other mundane subject matter. In relation with Krishna, all ordinary topics become transcendental narrations with the power to bring the reader to the perfection of life. So when Krishna is put in any topic, the topic becomes spiritual. Next. The person who desires pure devotional service to Lord Krishna should hear the narrations of Lord Uttama Shlokas, glorious qualities, the constant chanting of which destroy everything inauspiciousness. The devotee should engage in such listening in regular daily assemblies and should also continue his hearing throughout the day. Since any topic related to Lord Krishna is auspicious and transcendental, the direct narration of Lord Krishna's own activities, political and non-political, is certainly the supreme subject matter for hearing. The word Nityam here indicates regulated cultivation of the topics of Lord Krishna. And Abhi Abhikshanam indicates constant remembrance of such regulated spiritual experiences. So Sukdev Goswami telling that anything related to Krishna is auspicious and person should inculcate these qualities to hear about Krishna on a very, very regular basis. So here Sukdev Goswami is emphasizing the importance of Nityam Bhagavad Sevaya. King Parikshit said, "My lord, how can person living in the age of Kali rid themselves of the contamination of this age? O great sage, please explain this to me." The one chapter before this chapter, second chapter is about the predictions about Kali Yuga. So King Parikshit already heard all the bad qualities of Kali Yuga, and Bhumi Devi further explained now that how the kings are fighting with each other. Now Parikshit Maharaj want to know that, okay, all these bad qualities are there, but now I want to know that how the people of Kali Yuga will be helped. What is the method in which people of Kali Yuga can be helped? King Parikshit was a compassionate, saintly ruler. Thus, after hearing of the abominable qualities of age of Kali, he naturally inquires as to how those born in this age can free themselves of its inherent contamination. So King Parikshit is a great devotee. So devotees are by default par dukha dukhi. So they always want to get the people miseries, take all the miseries of the people and make the people a happy society. So after hearing all these bad qualities and bad predictions about Kali Yuga, naturally King Parikshit's heart got melted and he wanted to inquire how these people could be helped. Please explain the different ages of universal history, the special qualities of each age, the duration of cosmic maintenance and destruction, and the movement of time, which is direct representation of the Supreme Soul, the personality of Godhead, Lord Vishnu. Sri Shuka Uvacha. Sukdev Goswami said, "My dear king, in the beginning, during Satya Yuga, the age of truth religion is present, with all four of its legs intact and is carefully maintained by the people at that age. These four legs of powerful religion are truthfulness, mercy, austerity, and charity. Satyam, Daya, Shaucham. Thus, just as there are four seasons, there are four ages of the earth, each lasting hundreds of thousands of years. The first of these is Satyuga, when such good qualities as charity are prominent. Actual charity here refers to as Dhanam, is to award fearlessness and freedom to others. So here Prabhupada disciple is telling the actual meaning of charity. Charity doesn't mean that just giving some money to temple or poor people. Actual charity here refers to as Dhanam, is to award fearlessness and freedom to others, not to give them some material means of temporary pleasure or relief. Any material charitable arrangement will inevitably be crushed by the onward march of time. Thus, only realization of one's eternal existence beyond the reach of time can make one fearless, and only freedom from material desires constitute real freedom. For it enables one to escape the bondage of the laws of nature. Therefore, real charity is to help people revive their eternal spiritual consciousness. So this is the real charity. If we want to help people, this is the charity we should give them, revive the eternal spiritual consciousness. And Prabhupada very nicely create an environment now we just have to follow. Everything is done by acharyas. If we have taken birth like before Bhaktivinoda Thakur time now, it will be very, very difficult for us to practice spirituality because it was so difficult situation that time. After Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, they have made the environment so convenient, and now further finally Prabhupada after establishing ISKCON, whole environment is so easy now. We just have to follow the process and everything is taken care of. So in this way we can do best for us and best for the other people also. So religion is here referred to as Vibhu, the mighty, because universal religious principles are not different from the Supreme Lord himself and ultimately led one to his kingdom. The qualities mentioned here, truthfulness, mercy, austerity, and charity are universal, non-sectarian aspects of pious life. In the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, the fourth leg of religion is listed as cleanliness. According to Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, this is an alternative definition of the word Dhanam in the present context. Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, are you all following what we are discussing? Or any doubt, we can continue. Haribol.
Yes, Prabhuji. I think it's very
Okay.
perfect, Prabhuji. It's a perfect explanation of charity, which the right time to understand this. Very nice. Thank you, Prabhuji, for reading this.
We'll continue now. Actually, it's
Yes.
what Prabhupada has given, Prabhupada disciples have given. I'm just repeating it.
Yes.
The people of Satyuga are for the most part self-satisfied, merciful, friendly to all, peaceful, sober, and tolerant. They take their pleasure from within, see all things equally, and always endeavor diligently for spiritual perfection. So this is now Parikshit Maharaj is hearing about Satyuga qualities. Sama Drishta, equal vision is based on the perception of the supreme spirit behind all material variety and within all living entities. We will see what about the Treta Yuga. In Treta Yuga, each leg of religion is gradually reduced by 1/4 by the influence of the 4 pillars of irreligion: lying, violence, dissatisfaction, and quarrel. So by falsity, truth is diminished. By violence, mercy is diminished. By dissatisfaction, austerity is diminished. And by quarrel, charity and cleanliness are diminished. So very beautifully it's explained that how each of the things are being diminished. By falsity, truth is diminished. By violence, mercy is diminished. By dissatisfaction, austerity is diminished. And by quarrel, charity and cleanliness are diminished. So this is how things got diminished from transferring from Satyuga to Treta Yuga. After that, Treta Yuga. In the Treta Yuga, people are devoted to ritual performances and severe austerities. They are not excessively violent or very lust after sensual pleasure. Their interest lies primarily in religiosity, economic development, and regulated sense gratification. And they achieve prosperity by following the perceptions of the 3 Vedas. Although in this age, society evolves into 4 separate classes, O king, most people are Brahmanas. So in Treta Yuga, most of the people are Brahmanas. What happened in Dwapar Yuga? In Dwapar Yuga, the religious qualities of austerity, truth, mercy, and charity are reduced to 1/2 by their irreligious counterparts. What are this? Dissatisfaction, untruth, violence, and enmity. So now it's reduced to half. So 1/4, every yuga it got reduced. In the Dwapara age, people are interested in glory and are very noble. They devote themselves to the study of Vedas, possess great opulences, support large families, and enjoy life with vigor. Of the 4 classes, the Kshatriyas and Brahmanas are most numerous. So if those people hear about us, they will be like fainted. Oh, they can't believe. Like we can't believe those type of people could exist now. So next comes the Kali Yuga. In the age of Kali, only 1/4 of the religious principles remain. The last remnant will continuously be decreased by the ever-increasing principles of irreligion and will finally be destroyed. So all this Satyam, Daya, Shaucham, Tapa, all this reduced to 1/4. In the Kali age, people tend to become greedy, ill-behaved, and merciless. So we all can relate it now easily. And they fight one another without good reason. Unfortunate and obsessed with material desires. The people of Kali Yuga are almost all Shudras and barbarians. So Kali, Shudra, Sama. So people in this Kali Yuga are almost all Shudras. In this age, we can already observe that most people are laborers, clerks, fishermen, artisans, or another kind of workers within the Shudra category. Enlightened devotees of God and noble political leaders are extremely scarce. And even independent businessmen and farmers are vanishing breed as huge business conglomerates increasingly convert them into subservient employees. So we can see it very clearly how it's predicted long ago. Vast regions of the earth are already populated by barbarian and semi-barbarous people, making the entire situation dangerous and bleak. The Krishna conscious movement is empowered to rectify the current dismantled state of affairs. It is the only hope or the ghastly age of called Kali Yuga. So very nicely proper, it's given by disciples of Prabhupada. They say that we can already observe that most people are laborers, clerks, fishermen, artisan, and other kind of workers within the Shudra. So people only want to become a worker, laborer. They don't want to take responsibilities. And those people who are already independent businessmen or farmers are very fast vanishing now because huge business few business mentions are coming and they are converting them all independent business people to laborers. They want everybody to become labor, and very few people want to control the earth. So vast religion of earth are already populated by barbarians. So everywhere people are like this Shudra, Shudra, Shudra. So they don't have any standard of living. They are just living like animals. So here the solution is giving is Krishna conscious movement is empowered to rectify the current dismantled state of affairs. So it is the only hope for the ghastly age of Kali Yuga. So, but we are very lucky. We have one hope, and more than that, we are already connected. So we should be very, very serious now. The material modes, goodness, passion, and ignorance, whose permutations are observed within a person's mind, are set into motion by the power of time. The four ages described in these verses are manifestations of various modes of material nature. The age of truth, Satya Yuga, manifests the predominance of material goodness, and Kali Yuga manifests the predominance of ignorance. According to Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, within each age, the other three ages occasionally manifest as sub-ages. Thus, even within Satya Yuga, a demon in the mode of ignorance may appear, and within the age of Kali, the highest religious principles may flourish for some time. As described in Srimad Bhagavatam, the three modes of nature are present everywhere and in everything, but the predominant modes or combination of modes determines the general character of any material phenomenon. In this age, therefore, the three modes are present in varying proportions. The particular age represents by goodness, passion, goodness Satya Yuga, passion Treta Yuga, passion and ignorance Dwapar Yuga, and ignorance Kali Yuga exist within each of the other ages as a subfactor. So here Sridhar Swami has Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has explained very nicely that although certain mode is predominant for a particular yuga, but other modes could coexist for a small time. And in Satyuga also some ignorant fellow could be born and who will make destruction like in Kali Yuga. So that's why we see that so many demons were born in different yuga, and people have a doubt how come in Satyuga such demons could exist. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has cleared that out, that even in yugas, although predominant is particular mode, for example in Kali Yuga, ignorant is predominant. But even in Kali Yuga, Satyuga could appear as a small area. And now we can see that Prabhupada Sankirtan movement, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Sankirtan movement is actually very, very beneficial, and it's totally anti-Kali Yuga. So when the mind, intelligence, and senses are solidly fixed in the mode of goodness, that time should be understood as Satyuga, the age of truth. People then take pleasure in knowledge and austerity. The word Krita means performed and or executed. Thus, in the age of truth, all religious duties are duly performed, and people take great pleasure in spiritual knowledge and austerity. Even in the Kali Yuga, those who are situated in the mode of goodness take pleasure in the cultivation of spiritual knowledge and the regulated performance of austerity. This sublime state of existence is possible for one who has conquered sex desire. So Prabhupada, somebody asked Prabhupada, how come people throughout the world respect you? So Prabhupada told very nice answer that because I have conquered my sex desire. So you want to elevate yourself in spiritual life, then this is the main key point Prabhupada has highlighted. Oh, most intelligent one, when the conditioned souls are devoted to their duties but have ulterior motives and seek personal prestige, we should understand such a situation to be of age of Treta, in which the functions of passion are prominent. Next, when greed, dissatisfaction, false pride, hypocrisy, and envy become prominent, along with the attraction for selfish activities, such a time is the age of Dwapara, dominated by the mixed mode of passion and ignorance. So now we can imagine what is Kali Yuga. When there is a predominance of cheating, lying, sloth, sleepiness, violence, depression, lamentation, bewilderment, fear, and poverty, that age is Kali, the age of mode of ignorance. In Kali Yuga, people are almost exclusively devoted to gross materialism with hardly any affinity for self-realization. Because of the bad qualities of the age of Kali, human beings will become short-sighted, unfortunate, gluttonous, lustful, and poverty-stricken. The woman become unchaste, will freely wander from one man to the next. In the age of Kali, certain pseudo-intellectuals seeking the individual freedom support sexual promiscuity. In fact, identification of the self with the body and pursuit of individual freedom in the body rather than in the soul are signs of most dismal ignorance and slavery to lust. When women are unchaste, many children are born out of wedlocks as product of lust. These children grow up in psychologically unfavorable circumstances and a neurotic ignorance society arises. Symptoms of this are already manifested throughout the world. Once they have a survey in United States in the jails, and they found out that 95% of the population in the jail, the criminals, are from a family background, which is not a proper family, like born out of single mother, single parent, or divorcee parents, something like that. So there are families which don't have any culture, they can't give any culture to children. Then this is how it's happening, and it's already predicted in Kali Yuga. And in Bhagavad Gita also we have heard in first chapter itself that Arjuna has a doubt that if Krishna, you order me to kill all these men, then the woman will become free, and the unworthy population will be born, which will create disaster. So this we can see practically right now, that how family culture is so important, and for which is a part of our culture, but slowly and very fast we are now leaving it. So cities will be dominated by thieves. The Vedas will be contaminated by speculative interpretations of atheists. Political leaders will virtually consume the citizens, and the so-called priests and intellectuals will be devotees of their bellies and genitals. Perfect. Many large cities are unsafe at night. For example, it is understood that no sane person will walk in New York Central Park at night because he knows he will almost certainly be mugged. Apart from ordinary thieves who abound in this age, large cities are filled with cutthroat businessmen who enthusiastically convince people to purchase and consume useless or even harmful products. It has been well documented that beef, tobacco, liquor, and many other modern products destroy one's physical health. But to speak of mental health, and yet modern capitalists do not hesitate to use even psychological tricks in the book to convince people to consume these things. Modern cities are full of mental and atmospheric pollution, and even ordinary citizens are finding themselves unbearable. This verse also point out that the teachings of the Vedic scriptures will be distorted in this age. Great universities teach course on Hinduism in which Indian religion, despite limitless evidence to the contrary, is described as polytheistic and leading to the impersonal salvation. In fact, the Vedic literature is a unfiled, unified whole, as stated by Lord Krishna himself in Bhagavad Gita 15.15, Vedesha Sarvam Aham Eva Vedya. By all the Vedas, I am to be known. Krishna is to be known. All Vedic literature is meant for enlightening us about the Supreme Personality of a Supreme Personal Absolute Truth, Vishnu or Krishna. Although Krishna, by many names and appearing in many forms, God is a single absolute entity, and He is a person. But this true Vedic understanding is hidden in the Kali Yuga. In this verse, Sukdeva astutely observes that political leaders will virtually consume the citizens, and the so-called priests and intellectuals will be devotees of their bellies and genitals. How sadly true this statement is. So we can easily correlate, Prabhuji and Mataji, that what is happening now is already very natural for Kali Yuga. The Brahmanical brahmacharis will fail to execute their vows and become generally unclean. The householders will become beggars. The Vanprasthas will live in the villages, and the sannyasis will be greedy for wealth. Brahmacharya, celibate student life, is practically non-existent in the age of Kali. In America, many boys' schools have become co-educational because young men frankly refuse to live without the constant companion of a lusty young girl. Although we have personally observed throughout the Western world that students' residents are among the dirtiest place on earth, as predicted here by the word of asacha. So we have all have passed through that time that we have studied and stayed in hostels, and we know how people are acting there, leading there. Concerning householders, beggars, when devotees of the Lord go door to door distributing transcendental literatures and requesting donations for the propagation of God's glories, irrelated householders commonly reply, "Someone should give me a donation." Householders in Kali Yuga are not charitable. Instead, because of their miserly mentality, they become irrelated when spiritual mendicants approach them. So we have already experienced all this, and those people who are doing book distribution, they very well know this, that how people are so reluctant to just shred out little money for the in the name of service, in the name of God. But other way around, they are very ready to spend a lot of money to have TV and mobile recharge. Everything is very expensive, but people are ready to spend money. But to get one Bhagavad Gita, just 200 rupees, nobody is ready to give out. So in Vedic culture, at the age of 50, couples retire to sacred places for austere lives and spiritual perfection. In countries like America, however, retirement cities have been constructed wherein elderly people can make fools of themselves by wasting the last years of their life playing golf, ping pong, and shuffleboard, and by engaging in pathetic attempts at love affairs, even while their bodies are horribly rotting and their minds are growing senile. This shameless abuse of the vulnerable last years of life denotes a stubborn unwillingness to actual knowledge, to acknowledge the actual purpose of human life, and is certainly an offense against God. Once Prabhupada was doing a morning walk in Juhu along with his disciples, and he saw some elderly people walking there with a stick, golf stick. So Prabhupada asked that what these people are doing in the early morning there. So disciples told that they joined a golf club and they are going to play the golf. So Prabhupada asked them, what is the game golf? So they explained that in one small ball is there and one hole is there. So people have to just kick the ball with a stick and hit and ultimately reach the hole, and this way the people will lose or lose the game or win the game. So Prabhupada actually started crying by listening that how come these elderly people who are so close to death are wasting their important time, precious time in just throwing the ball in a hole and playing the games like that. They should be very much devoted to reading scriptures and serving, doing bhajans and all, but nobody is interested in that. So this is how acharyas are very much compassionate for us, and because of his compassion, because of his mercy, we are able to do a little bit, and now we should become more and more serious seeing these all predictions about Kali Yuga, that how important it's the responsibility on our shoulder Prabhupada has given. Prabhupada disciples, they are doing their best, and now it's our time because we have to become more and more serious and take it further, so that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's prediction should go on, and all the people throughout the world should get benefit of this Krishna consciousness movement. The word Neashino Tearla Lopula indicate that charismatic religious leaders, and even those who are not charismatic, will proclaim themselves prophets, saints, and incarnations to cheat the innocent public and fatten their bank accounts. Therefore, the International Society for Krishna Consciousness is working arduously to establish bona fide celibate student life, religious householder life, dignified and progressive retirement, and genuine spiritual leaders for the entire world. Today, May 9, 1982, in the sensual city of Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, we have awarded Sannyasa, the renounced order of life, to 3 young men, 2 Brazilian and 1 American, with the sincere hope that they will faithfully execute the rigid vows of renounced life and provide authentic spiritual leadership in South America. So this is how Krishna conscious movement is helping people throughout the world to accept retirement after their Grihastha life and fully dedicated to service of Krishna. Women will become much smaller in size and they will eat too much, have more children that then they can properly take care of, and lose all shyness. They will always speak harshly and will exhibit qualities of thievery, deceit, and unrestrained audacity. Next. Businessmen will engage in petty commerce and earn their living and their money by cheating. Even when there is no emergency, people will consider any degraded occupation quite acceptable. The purpose, although other occupations are available, people do not hesitate to work in coal mines, slaughterhouses, steel mills, deserts, floating oil rigs, submarines, and other equally abominable situations. As also mentioned here, businessmen will consider cheating and lying to be a perfectly respectable way to do business. These are all symptoms of age of Kali. So yesterday I was discussing with Lalit Mohan Prabhuji, like Prabhuji forgot to log in or join our regular Bhakti Shastris. So I was discussing, Prabhuji, you can put one alarm. So Prabhuji immediately told, alarm is okay, but as soon as I will leave this job, because his job is like night shift, day shift, we all know. So because of that, my mind is totally disturbed. As soon as I leave, I'll come away from Ugra Karma. So this is how Ugra Karma people are doing nowadays. And although other options are also available. So these are all the symptoms of age of Kali. So mind will always remain disturbed. Servants will abandon a master who has lost his wealth, even if that master is a saintly person of exemplary character. Master will abandon an incapacitated servant, even if that servant has been in the family for generations. Cow will be abandoned or killed when they stop giving milk. In India, the cow is considered sacred not because Indian people are primitive worshippers of mythological totems, but because Hindu intelligently understand that cow is a mother. As children nearly all of us were nourished with cow's milk, and therefore the cow is one of our mothers. Certainly, one's mother is sacred, and therefore we should not kill the scared cow. So it is said that mother milk people drink for up to 3 to 4 years, but cow milk people drink throughout the life. So which is more important, mother? So cow is also our mother. And Prabhupada told, as long as cow is there, the earth will be, the Kali Yuga will not show its full effect. But as soon as cows are gone from this planet, Kali Yuga will come into full force. So this is how important we should take care of cows. In Kali Yuga, men will be wretched and controlled by women. They will reject their fathers, brothers, other relatives and friends, and will instead associate with the sisters and brothers of their wives. Thus, their conception of friendship will be based exclusively on sexual ties. So these are all predictions of Kali Yuga, and we can very easily correlate in the today's present culture. Uncultured men will accept charity on the behalf of Lord and will earn their livelihood by making a show of austerity and wearing a mendicant's dress. Those who know nothing about religion will mount a high seat and presume to speak on religious principles. So the epidemic of bogus Guru Swami, priests, and so forth is explicitly described here. So these all things don't need too much explanation because we all can see easily all these things happening around us everywhere. In the age of Kali, people's mind will always be agitated. They will become emaciated by famine and taxation. My dear king, and will always be disturbed by fear of drought. They will lack adequate clothing, food, and drink, will be unable to properly rest, have sex, or bath themselves, and will have no ornaments to decorate their bodies. In fact, the people of Kali Yuga will gradually become to appear like costly, hunted creatures. The symptoms described here are already prevalent in many countries of the world and will gradually spread to other places engulfed by impiety and materialism. So very easy we can correlate if we see our photo only before and after, before coming to Krishna consciousness, after coming to Krishna consciousness practicing, we can easily see what changes we have, how our body become effulgent. The people who are practicing Krishna consciousness, those people not practicing, we can easily see the glow on their body. So in Kali Yuga, men will develop hatred for each other, even over a few coins. Giving up all friendly relations, they will be ready to lose their own life and kill even their own relatives. So I came from a place, Delhi, and I have seen myself people killing other person for just a fight on 2 rupees. They have a fight argument for 2 rupees, and one person killed other person with a gun. This happened in front of us, near to our house in Delhi. So this is how Kali Yuga is going to showing its symptoms. Men will no longer protect their elderly parents. their children, or their respectable wives. Through thoroughly degraded, they will care only to satisfy their own bellies and genitals. Purport. In this age, many people are already sending their elderly parents away to lonely and often bizarre old age homes. Although the elderly people spend their entire lives serving their children, young children are also tormented in many ways in this age. Suicide among children has increased dramatically in recent years because they are being born not to loving religious parents but to degraded, selfish men and women. In fact, children are often born because of birth control pills, a prophylactic or some other contraceptive devices malfunction. Under such condition, it is very difficult nowadays for parents to morally guide their children. Generally ignorant of spiritual science, parents cannot lead their children on the path of liberation and thus fail to fulfill their primary responsibilities in family life. As predicted in this verse, adultery has become common, and people in general are extremely concerned with eating and sex, which they consider far more important than knowing the absolute truth. So here it's clearly told that people, children should be taken care very lovingly, and religious parents are required. But nowadays people are become selfish men and women, which are the parents children are getting. So this is the root cause that children are not satisfied, and all the problems related to child like suicides and all other problems are coming. So, O king, in this age of Kali, people intelligence will be diverted by atheism, and they will almost never offer sacrifices to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the supreme spiritual master of the universe. Although the great personalities who control the three worlds all bow down to the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord, Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, they all bow down to Supreme Lord. The petty and miserable human beings of this age will not do so. But the human being of Kali Yuga, they consider themselves more superior than these personalities, and they don't want to go down to Supreme Krishna. So the impulse to find the absolute truth, the source of all existence, has motivated philosophers, theologians, and other intellectuals of various persuasions since time immemorial, and continues to do so today. However, soberly analyzing the ever-increasing plurality and so-called philosophies, religions, paths, ways of life, and so on, we find that in almost all cases, the ultimate objective is something impersonal or formless. But this idea of the impersonal or formless absolute truth has serious logical flaws. According to ordinary rules of logic, a particular effect should directly or indirectly embody the attributes or nature of its own cause. Thus, that which has no personality or activity could hardly be the source of all personality and all activities. So here, very technically, Prabhupada disciples are explaining that how Supreme Personality of God, Absolute Truth, is a person, not an impersonal. Our irrespective proclivity to philosophize about the ultimate truth often express itself through philosophical, scientific, and mystical attempts to discover that from which everything emanates. This material world, which is a seemingly limitless network of interactive causes and effects, is certainly not the absolute truth. Since scientific observations of material elements indicate that the stuff of this world, material world, is endlessly transformed into different states and shapes, therefore one particular instant of material reality cannot be ultimately source of all other things. We may speculate that matter in some shape or other have always existed. This theory, however, is no longer attractive to modern cosmologists, such as those of Manchester Institute of Technology, and even if we do posit that matter had already existed, we still must explain the source of constituent consciousness if we want to satisfy our philosophical impulse towards discovering the absolute truth. Although modern empirical fanatics state that nothing is real except matter, everyone commonly experiences that consciousness is not the same kind of substance as a stone, pencil, or water. Awareness itself, in contradiction to the objects of awareness, is not a physical entity, but rather a process of perception and understanding. While there is ample evidence of a systematic interpretation in interdependence relationship between matter and consciousness, there is no rigid empirical evidence whatsoever that matter is a cause of consciousness. Thus, the theory that the material world has always existed and is therefore the ultimate truth does not scientifically or even intuitively explain the source of consciousness. This is the most fundamental real aspect of our existence. So Amog Leela Prabhuji very nicely explained how modern education system works. Amog Leela Prabhuji told that there is a big box and they started taking out pigeons from the box. So initially, all pigeons are like gray color. So they make a theory, pigeons are in green color. But after some time, then the pigeons started coming. They found one green pigeon. So they just hide that pigeon because they already make a theory that pigeons are in gray color. But then they started taking pigeons out, and so many green pigeons are coming and it came in the limelight. So then make a theory, pigeons are in gray color and also in green color. And then start taking pigeons out, and one blue pigeon came suddenly. And then they hide that blue pigeon because they already give a theory that pigeons are gray color and green color. Now blue pigeon came. So they just hide the blue pigeon. And then they started taking more pigeons, like that, gray, green. And suddenly so many blue pigeons started coming. Then they have to change their theory. Then they update the theory. Pigeons are in gray color, green color, and blue color. So like that, our material science keep on updating based on our experiences. But is this the knowledge? Is this the knowledge we are learning? Is this the way to learn anything? And this thing keep on changing. But we see our scriptures, they are in the Shabd Praman. It means that authority is giving us the perfect knowledge, and this ultimate authority is getting knowledge from in a disciplic succession through Krishna. So that all things are explained in this purport. It's very technical, so we'll just skip it and move to next purport. Terrified about to die, a man collapses on his bed. Although his voice is flattering and he is hardly conscious of what he is saying, if he utterly utters the holy name of Supreme Lord, he can be freed from the reaction of his fruitive work and achieve the supreme destination. But still, people in the age of Kali will not worship the Supreme Lord. So you can lead a horse to water, but you cannot make him to drink. So this is the purport. So Kali Yuga you can do, but no matter what, people will be not understand. In the Kali Yuga, objects, places, and even individual personalities are all polluted. The Almighty Personality of Godhead, however, can remove all such contamination from the life of one who fixed the Lord within his mind. If a person hears about, so now till now we have seen all the bad qualities of Kali Yuga, all the bad symptoms, but all things are happening. Now some hopes are coming. If a person hears about, glorifies, meditates upon, worships, or simply offers great respect to the Supreme Lord who is situated within the heart, the Lord will remove from his mind and contamination accumulated during the many thousands of lifetime. And we see how beautifully Prabhupada has made a system in which these all things become natural. If a person hears about, so if anybody just visit ISKCON temple anywhere near to their place, so he will hear about, he will glorify, he will meditate upon, worship, or simply offer great respect. He will just bow down to deities, he will hear Bhagavad, he will take prasad. So all these things are, system is made. Now this person has to somehow or other visit. And even if he's not visiting, devotees are being trained enough to visit their house and serve them through Bhagavatam, through Bhagavad Gita distribution and all. So this is how Prabhupada has made a system that people can take advantage very easily now. Just as a fire applied to coal removes any discoloration caused by traces of other metal, Lord Vishnu within the heart purifies the minds of the yogis. Although one may practice the mystic yoga system, his actual spiritual advancement is due to the mercy of the Supreme Lord within the heart. It is not directly the result of austerity and meditation. If one becomes foolishly proud in the name of yoga, his spiritual position becomes ridiculous. So here it's clearly said that we should not become puffed up, that we are doing something, Krishna is the doer, and we are just, because of the mercy of Krishna, we are able to do a bit service. So this is for the people who are already practicing something in the name of devotion. They should not get puffed up that we are doing something. Anything we are able to do now is through the mercy of Guru and Krishna. We must always remember this. By one engaging in the process of demigod worship, austerity, breath control, compassion, bathing in holy places, strict vows, charity, and chanting of various mantras, one's mind cannot attain the same absolute purification as that achieved when the ultimately personality of Godhead appears within one's heart. Therefore, O king, endeavor with all your might to fix the Supreme Lord Keshava within your heart. Maintain this conception upon the Lord, and at the time of death, you will certainly attain the supreme destination. So now, King Parikshit is being instructed by Sukdev Goswami that just fix your mind on Krishna and just don't worry about your death. You will certainly attain the supreme destination. Although the Supreme Lord is always in the heart of every living being, the word Hidi, Stam, Kuru, Keshavam indicates that one should endeavor to realize the Lord's presence there and maintain this awareness at every moment. Parikshit Maharaj is about to give up this word and is receiving final instructions from his spiritual master Sukdev Goswami. In the context of the king's immediate departure, this verse has special significance. My dear king, the personality of Godhead is the ultimate controller. He is the supreme soul and the supreme shelter of all beings. When meditated upon by those about to die, he reveals to them their own eternal spiritual identity. So anybody who follow Krishna consciousness seriously for some time, they can very easily remember Lord when at the time of death. And even Krishna promises in Bhagavad Gita, even if somebody yogi fails to die, then Krishna will take care of that. Krishna will somehow or other make him remember. Now we came to the best verse of this chapter. Kale doshe nide rajan hasti eko mahan guna kirtanaya devaste Krishnaste mukta sangha param bhaje. My dear king, although Kali Yuga is an ocean of faults, there is still one good quality about this age. Simply by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, one can become free from material bondage and be promoted to the transcendental kingdom. After mentioning the innumerable faults of this age of Kali, Sukdev Goswami now mentions in one brilliant aspect, just as one powerful king can kill innumerable thieves, one brilliant spiritual quality can destroy all the contamination of this age. It is impossible to overestimate the importance of chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, especially in this fallen age. So I request everybody to unmute and chant once loudly. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Rama
Rama Hare Hare.
Hare. So now we all are saved from Kali Yuga effect. Hari Bol. Next, whatever result was obtained in Satya Yuga by meditation on Vishnu, in Treta Yuga by performing sacrifices, and in Dwapara Yuga by serving the Lord's lotus feet, can be obtained in Kali Yuga simply by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So very easy for Kali Yuga people. We don't have to do big things which people have to do in different yugas. A similar verse is found in Vishnu Purana and also in Padam Purana, in the Brahmanadara Purana. Dhyaya krite yajna yajni tretayam dvapare chayam yad apnoti tad apnoti kalo sankirtana keshavam. Whatever is achieved by meditation in Satyuga, by the performance of sacrifice in Treta Yuga, and the worship of Lord Krishna's lotus feet in Dwapara Yuga, is obtained in the age of Kali simply by glorifying the name of Lord Keshava. So we don't have to do research. It's already researched that in our Bhagavatam it's there, in Vishnu Purana is there, in Padma Purana it's there, in Brahma Narada Purana is there. So all the Vedas, all the Puranas continuously telling this, that Kali Yuga there is only one way, that we have to chant the holy name of Lord. Srila Jiva Goswami has further quoted from the Brahma Vaivashya Purana concerning the degraded condition of the people in Kali Yuga. Atha kalo tapo yoga vidya yajnathika kritya kriyat sangha bhavanti nakrita kushailere api dehimi. Thus, in the age of Kali, the practice of austerity, yoga meditation, deity worship, sacrifice, and so on, along with their various subsidiary functions, are not properly carried out, even by the most expert embodied souls. So we can ask the question that why you are selling the deity worship and all this yoga meditation, nothing will work out. But in temples, we do so much deity worship is there, other services are there. But Prabhupada very intelligently connect everything with the Hare Krishna chanting. Like for example, when we do Mangal Aarti, deity worship, so Mangal Aarti is followed by Hare Krishna Kirtan. So Prabhupada told, no matter what service we do, we have to do Hare Krishna Kirtan along, so that all the doshas which we are conduct because of our incapability or the effect of Kali Yuga should be counteracted easily. So Kali Yuga, Hare Krishna Mahamantra is the only way which works, and Prabhupada very intelligently mixed Hare Krishna Mahamantra in all our activities of spiritual realization. Srila Jiva Goswami has also cited the Chaturmasya Mahatma of Skanda Puran concerning the necessity of chanting Hare Krishna in this age. Tatha chaivottamo loke sabha Shri Hari Kirtanam kalo yuge vishestheta Vishnu Pritya Samacharet. In this way, the most perfect penance to be executed in this world is the chanting of the name of Lord Sri Hari. Especially in the age of Kali, one can satisfy the Supreme Lord Vishnu by performing Sankirtana. In conclusion, massive propaganda should be made all over the world to induce people to chant the Hare Krishna mantra, by which human society can be rescued from the dangerous ocean of the age of Kali. Thus end the purpose of humble servants of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada to the 12th canto, 3rd chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam entitled the Bhumi Gita. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. So Prabhuji and Mataji, we discussed this because we just want to understand that the Sankirtan movement which we have given by Lord Chaitanya and in the disciplic succession Prabhupada and now his disciples who are very actively giving us this Sankirtan movement, these facilities, we should not take it cheaply, because this is something which is the best available opportunity in our present time, place and circumstances where we are born. So our acharyas very intelligently know that this is what is best available, and this is what best is being given to us, and somehow or other we have been provided by the mercy of our gurus, our Shiksha Gurus, Diksha Gurus, and we are able to do little service. But we should not take it very cheaply. We should be very, very sincere, and we should take this opportunity very, very seriously, because this is the best thing which we can get. Somebody might have given us education, so we are so much obliged that our teachers as teachers, our parents have given us birth. But taking material education is good. But if we have not been given this opportunity of Krishna consciousness, what could be our future? Now, since we understand that we are not the body, we are soul, and this soul needs food. The food of soul is spirit, this Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and we have been awarded with that. So this is something which is our eternal bank balance, because parents, teachers, they keep on changing through life after life, and even insects have parents, even birds, animals, they all have parents. So getting a parent is very good. We should respect everybody, but we should understand the importance of this opportunity which we have been awarded through Prabhupada movement, that this Hare Krishna Mahamantra and this Krishna consciousness is so important for Kali Yuga. So the purpose for which I choose this chapter and we read this chapter from book is that we collectively should know that this is such a rare thing about Kali Yuga, the effect of Kali Yuga which is going on, and we should take this advantage and be very, very serious. The ultimate purpose of doing any devotional activity is to increase our faith in Krishna, and with every step our faith increase, and we should become more and more serious in our Krishna consciousness activities, because Krishna is unlimited, so we can never become perfect. But we can always move one step ahead, and endlessly. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. If anybody wants to correct me or add some comments or ask some questions, please.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, thank you very much. You have read a very nice purport and you have that strong conviction, Prabhuji. That's why you are able to deliver that. We all are lacking that conviction. I very much
want to
appreciate
increase my faith. That's why I read. So it's better to read together in a group, then all your mercy will come on me. so I can become more serious.
And we all are very much inspired by you. You are a very fixed up devotee, Prabhuji. No matter what you
You are
drive
still out
hard
of
for
your home, but
serving.
you are listening Bhagavatam. You are very constantly hearing. Even though you are not at home, you are doing other services together. Bapre. I can't imagine that.
No, you are
For
great,
me,
Prabhuji.
conditions are not very since comfortable. I can't do anything. But even though conditions are not favorable, you still make them favorable.
Even with your tough office schedule, you still do. I saw in second class train also you're attending the session, so switching on your video. So that shows how well you have built the Krishna conscious conviction.
Of
And we
everybody.
all inspire. We all are inspired from you, Prabhuji. I have one
Prabhuji.
question for you, Prabhuji, and
Yes,
you specially talked about the strength of holy name and
Yes.
the power of it in Kali Yuga.
Yes.
So when we hear more about this, we also get a thought, okay, is chanting the holy name is the only way? Yes, it's the only way. So
Yes.
is that alone enough? We also
Yes.
need mercy of spiritual master, acharyas, and all the parampara. So we have to serve. And with that mercy, we will get some strength to chant more. We ourselves can't chant. So how to understand this project? Can you please help me? Is serving important or is chanting important?
Prabhuji,
Can someone do just chanting and go on and perfect his life? Is that possible? Or a surrender to Guru, only then chanting will come into effect?
I will try to explain, Prabhuji, but I heard from my authorities that these things should go in a circle. So one cannot chant until one is blessed by the Guru's mercy. But to attract Guru mercy, we have to serve. So the whole idea for like chanting is the Yug Dharma. So no matter without chanting, we cannot help. But to do chanting properly, to become more serious in chanting, we need to attract Guru mercy. We need mercy of Krishna. And to get mercy of Krishna, to get mercy of Guru, we have to do service. Because without seva, we cannot attract their mercy. The mercy is like Guru and Krishna, they are like sun. So they are blessing their mercy everywhere. But to those who are having a reception, like your mobile got a receiver. So signals are everywhere, but your mobile is an instrument which can attract the signal and use it properly. So similarly, the mercy of Guru and Krishna is everywhere. But to become a recipient of that mercy, we have to become a better servant. So the whole idea of doing everything, whatever we are doing, reading Bhagavatam, doing deity worship, coming to satsang, serving the devotees, the whole idea is that so that we can attract the mercy, and by that mercy, I should be able to chant properly, chant sincerely, chant better, so that this Yug Dharma could be fulfilled. So it's a cycle.
Okay, okay. So we have to balance both. Yes.
Yeah, we can't just simply do and chanting. Although Prabhupada, like in Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati time, like they complained, the disciples of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati in Gaudiya Math, they all complained that one of the devotee in their ashram, in their Gaudiya Math, he is just doing japa. Full day he is doing japa and no service. So they all complained to Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati that this fellow is not doing any service. You please tell him to do some service also. So Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur told, okay, you do one thing, you go to newspaper agency and put an advertisement there. If anybody is doing ready to chant 24 hours, we are ready to give him all the facilities. He can come to our temple, he can stay here, we'll give him food, everything, whatever he needs. But the only service he should do is to sit and chant 24 hours. And they give advertisement in a newspaper in Bengal, in Kolkata. So nobody turned up. And this advertisement was every day printed in a newspaper for 30 days. But nobody, not even a single person could come up and say, okay, you give me everything, I will just sit here and chant. So it's not easy. It's not easy. So Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur teaches them that if somebody has that power to chant 24 hours, don't disturb him, let him chant. But we all know our limitations. I can't do that. So for us, because we are not blessed enough or we don't have that power, so to get that power first, we have to do services. So for us, Prabhupada make a very systematic way where we are doing services, Nam Japa, everything together parallelly, so that life is a balance. We cannot go in one extreme because once it happens, with Prabhupada, one of his disciples in Vrindavan. Prabhupada gave him service to count the cement bags because Vrindavan temple was under construction. So Prabhupada told, you just take care of construction, you count the cement bag, count the brick, like that. So he was an American person, so he was not very much accustomed to all these things, but he was doing it. But later he found out and he complained to Prabhupada, Prabhupada, I was getting so busy in all this service that I'm not getting time to chant. So Prabhupada told him, don't worry about that, you just help in construction of temple first. Later you can do your chanting. Even if you are compromising your chanting, you do this service first. But he was not convinced by the words of Prabhupada. So what he did, one day he left the temple and he just sat near Yamuna Ghat and started doing chanting. So people saw him in the Yamuna Ghat for 3-4 days, or maybe for 1 week maximum. After 1 week, he would disappear from there. So he could not find. And then later people find him in Hawaii. He went back to his hometown and he was enjoying the Awajbi serving. So he was out of Krishna consciousness because he did not believe the words of his Guru. So Prabhupada knows that what is our level. Our Guru knows our level. So accordingly, Guru will award service. So most of us nowadays, I don't think so. At my level, I can't chant 24 hours. To chant 16 rounds properly is a big struggle for me. So, but service is something we all can do and we all like to do. And we have seen many devotees serving nicely. Satya Prabhuji serving Prasadam. All you devotees are serving. So I am learning. So for us, what I understand is serving should come and chanting should also come together. And whenever we get time from service, we should chant. That's why Prabhupada give us feedback. Usko hamesha carry karke, we can keep it together. And during service, if we get extra time, so we can chant more. Minimum 16 rounds we have to chant. That's the rule. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Praveen Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, Lovesh Prabhu. Thank you, Mahalingam Prabhuji. Always come up with very nice questions and supporting, comments all the time. Thank you very much. Anybody else want to add any supporting comments or realizations about? Actually, Prabhuji, it's very nice that you started 12th canto, which I think I don't know whether how many people have gone to that level, but Bhumi Gita is something I also heard first time today, and very nicely explained all dharmas of 4 yugas, and re-stressing the point that Harinam Japa is the only way in Kali Yuga for us. And very clearly explained.
Very much correlated to our present situation. We can correlate. Whatever is predicted by Vyasdev 5,000 years ago, we can see it very happening right now around us.
Yes. And only, the thing is, people don't even know that these kind of things exist in Bhagavatam. I know how many people have read it. At least we, as you said, we have that advantage of knowing that Srimad Bhagavatam exists, and then we are at least starting to read Srimad Bhagavatam. But this knowledge is there in many places. And thank you very much for reiterating that today. Very nice to hear the Bhumi Gita, which I also am hearing for the first time. It's very nice points you made there, and together reading has a different meaning altogether. And thank you for taking that such a nice chapter for today. Anybody else have some comments to make?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, I would like to tell one point in this regard. I heard Anand Vrindavan Prabhuji, and he was telling in one of his sessions that somehow or the other, as our age is growing by the sunrise and sunset, we should get closer to the holy name. We should try to get that taste, and we should be willing to do the sacrifice or struggle for getting it. And as the age is progressing, we should get that taste somehow or the other. It's very difficult to get that taste at the end of the life. So we should practice our life in such a way that at least by the age you are about to take Vanaprastha ashram, or you are almost in the Vanaprastha ashram, you hardly have some 10, 20, 30 years more. And if you don't have the taste, it's a great miserable state that we are in. We know everything, that holy name is the only way. We understand, but still we are not so much conscious about it. So we are far more unfortunate than other people who doesn't know this process. So don't just get into that state. Instead, struggle hard now, so that as the age progress, you'll get that taste. And he also mentions one thing: if you have become completely invalid, Suppose your mind is not working to convey philosophy, give big lectures, good lectures, inspire others. Suppose your hands and legs and back is not working, and you are unable to do much of the physical activity, and you have become almost invalid. Who is going to take care of you? What can you do? What devotional service can you do? It's only chanting of the holy name, which doesn't need much effort, but you should practice for doing that. And hence, he almost every Saturday, Sunday, he conducts 64 rounds, and most of the Ekadashis, he does extra rounds chanting. And he is very much convinced that holy name is the only way. We should try to get that taste, and it will come by chanting more and more with conviction, faith, and with love. So I think it's a I felt that this point is very much related to today's discussion, and we all should struggle today so that at least tomorrow we can do our chanting better. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Hare Krishna Lavish Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mahesh Prabhu.
Dandavat Pranam Prabhu. All glories to Srila Prabhupada Prabhu. Prabhuji, it was really a very nice session, Prabhu. And adding on top of what Ayya Prabhu was saying, am I audible, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay.
Nicely.
Yeah. As Ayyar Prabhu was saying, actually on top of Ayyar Prabhu, recently, I think it's not very recent, but sometime back in our group, some devotee, I don't know whether it was Leelanand Prabhu or someone else, he has posted one wonderful video of a Mataji who was in last moments of the life, and she was not able to even remember kids' names or relatives' names, but she was only non-stop chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Okay, I mean, it is just reiterating on top of what Ayyar Prabhu was saying. But a question for you, Prabhu. A question for you is, there are so many across the board who know this, who actually understand this philosophy and they believe in this philosophy. But when coming to the execution, they stop. And if we take an example, like, one particular juice, if you wanted to drink, when you know that the taste is good, then if we taste it, then only you will be able to drink another cup of juice. But similarly for I don't know whether it's a right example or not. How will you know? Because being in sadhaka stage ourselves, we are forcing ourselves to do chanting. We are forcing ourselves to do minimum 16 rounds of chanting. But the taste, are we really with a hope that at one day in future I will be getting a real taste of Harinam? With that hope, we are doing it. But how to make this people understand? Yes, chanting of holy names is the ultimate way for the self-realization. They know everything, but without knowing the taste of it, how they will be able to chant? I don't know whether the example what I quoted related to juice. See, if any juice is tasty, only if I taste it, then only it is tasty. Then only I will drink another cup of juice. But without knowing the taste of Harinam, how we would be able to understand the taste of Harinam? We ourselves, sadhakas, are struggling to chant even 16 rounds. And how are we going to convince, especially ISKCON being a preaching movement, how we can convince them, Prabhu? I hope you got my question, Prabhu.
Yeah, I will repeat, Prabhuji, but I understand your question. But I understand, like you are asking I myself is not very mature enough. So how can able to help others even before when I am mature, right, Prabhuji?
Yes, that's right, Prabhu. That's
right. So Prabhuji, like first Prabhupada, what happens one time Prabhupada, one devotee was like Prabhupada do pranam mantra. So everybody bow down and everybody is doing repeating Jai 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 like we all do every day, right? So one particular devotee, he was not going down. So Prabhupada observed and he himself feel very awkward. So he came Prabhupada later on and he told Prabhupada, I don't feel like going down. Can you please help me? What should I do? So Prabhupada told him, you go down first forcefully until it becomes natural for you to go down. So similarly, we have to chant till it becomes natural for us to chant. Till then, we have to struggle to chant. So then, once it becomes natural, then we don't have to struggle anymore. And preaching is something which it's not like Prabhuji, I can't force. But I heard in lectures and Acharya explained that it's like overflowing. Once you are fully saturated with the juice, like sponge is fully saturated, then the liquid is overflowing because it cannot hold anymore. So that is called preaching. So once I become too much saturated with Krishna consciousness, I become so much blissful, then naturally it will become overpoured. And people will, I don't have to tell anybody to do anything. People will automatically just seeing me, they will understand that he's like Prabhupada. Prabhupada is such a great devotee. Just by seeing him, just by having his darshan, or just by listening his words, just by reading one line of his purport, people are becoming devotees, leaving all the bad habits. So this is called preaching actually. Ideally, preaching is when one becomes so great devotee and automatically the Krishna consciousness overflows to the other. But we are not at that level. That's true. That's why we are taking blessing over Parampara. We are taking blessing over Acharya. We are taking blessing over Prabhupada. And then please bless us. Whatever you speak, you please make my words become understandable for opposite person's heart. Even Prabhupada followed that. When Prabhupada went to US, so he wrote his poem that whatever way Krishna you want to make me dance, make me dance, make me dance. Please make my words worthy enough for these American people to understand. So this is how Acharya is teaching us that we are worthless. That's true. And we will always remain worthless in the eyes of our Guru. We will always remain worthless. That is a symptom of a very nice devotee. So if you feel yourself worthless, actually it's a very good thing because we all are worthless. That's how a devotee should see himself. But because my Guru has given me instructions, I should do it. So in the order of my Guru, I will do preaching, I will do all the other services. And if my Guru wants, he will make my words strength enough, strong enough so that other person's heart could be penetrated. So that is how the mood should be while we do any services, including preaching or any other services in Krishna consciousness.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, I hope Maestro, you understand.
Yes, Prabhu. Got that, Prabhu. Thank you very much, Prabhu. Thank you.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I want one small clarification and motivation too. I wanted to motivate the people, some of the people surrounding to me to chant.
Yes,
Chanting the beats itself, I'm not able to motivate them.
Yes, Mataji.
I'm audible.
We become motivated enough.
Am I audible to you?
We can. Yes, Mataji, I can hear you.
I don't know, because no, this, somehow I'm so many students and all of, but they feel not sitting one place and chanting on these beats. That is, they are getting bored. I don't know. I'm really surprised.
Once we become ourselves and very much happy in chanting, very much convinced in chanting, then seeing us, people will become automatically convinced. We don't have to put any effort. So the lacking here is that I myself are not convinced enough. That's why I'm not able to convince others. So now the more focus, more pressure we have to make ourselves convinced in chanting, then automatically seeing me, seeing my action, people will become convinced. We don't have to put effort for that.
In family itself, when my family people are saying that from since morning 3 o'clock, 3:30, 4 o'clock, I am in the chanting. So yes. Family member itself is not getting motivated. So how I can motivate the people?
See, Mataji, family we can't preach. Even Prabhupada has not touched his family. He make whole world devotee, but his family he just left here. And other people, his family becomes so strong. So family we should never preach. That's what I heard from my authorities. We should never preach to our families. First we become sincere, then seeing us, our families will automatically become sincere because our family has seen us for a long time in a non-devotional attire. And suddenly they saw the changes. So it's not easy for them to accept because in their mind, we are still that old fellow. So we should not try to preach our families.
Okay.
That's the thing.
Okay.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam, Prabhupada. I also just wanted to add a point to this, Prabhuji, and probably Shila Mataji also will appreciate this point. Very true, Prabhuji. Lavish Prabhuji, you said, first of all, we should be very happy chanting, and first of all, we should be very convinced. Only then we can somehow hope and pray that, because this is a holy name, this is so transcendental, and nothing happens because of our own self-effort and self-energy, or whatever self we are doing by ourselves, nothing is going to come out of that really. But because we are taking the shelter of something that is holy, that is transcendental, some magic will play out. I call it magic because every time I read what Srila Prabhupada was able to do, it sounds like magic to me, a miracle to me. So some magic, we have to believe in that magic ourselves first, Srila Mataji. It is not about getting others to chant. It is not about convincing others that yes, sitting in one place and chanting on the beads without doing anything for hours is fun. We will never be able to do that. But one thing I have seen in my own life and short, I don't even preach, but I'm just an assistant to Praveen Prabhuji. But even in our own small stint of trying to preach, I observe one thing. Everybody longs for something. They lack something, tried all their life to get it. The fact of the matter, they don't have it today. It could be having children who are very obedient. You will be able to appreciate this, Mataji. You are yourself saying that family members are not motivated. That means you are longing. You would wish, array, my own family members, I wish they had listened to me. That lacking is there. Or some people lack a very harmonious relationship with their in-laws or even husband and wife. Everybody is like under the same roof and between the four walls and all that, but they know that, if I say anything, if I go against my husband, he's not going to allow me. I'm going to be properly scolded back. My in-laws, I do so much, it's impossible to please them. They'll never appreciate me. All these longings are there in everybody. I do so much, I don't have reciprocation. I sincerely wish that this person improves in life. I tried telling also, but that person doesn't listen to me. So one of the things that we can show is by example. I'm just explaining what Lovesh Prabhuji touched upon. That's all. He already covered it. They come to our house last week. Last week we had 700 shloka recited in our house, right? And I had cooked for them. We decided that we won't order food, we will cook for them. And in my community, some of you know the kind of community we live in, cooking for 30 people or 20 people by the lady of the house is unheard of, right? Unheard of. Like, why do you want to cook when there are so many other orders that you can give? You could have ordered from temple only. So many things, right? They can't appreciate, they can't understand, sorry. And they're bewildered, flabbergasted that I took time to cook. Number two, I called the twins, my twin sons, to do kirtan, and they both came with their instruments and they chanted at the end of 700 verses. They did the kirtan for 20 minutes. First of all, they are not able to convince their children to do something materialistic only. Forget doing all this austerity and all that. They saw that, array, here is one family where mother called the children, they came and did the chanting. So leading by example is also preaching. Actually, the most powerful form of preaching is by behaving in a way that actually shows the impact of chanting in our own lives. Now, they see a family where there is something that they don't have and that family has. And when the family says that all this is happening because we are chanting, they somehow may want to chant. There is the forcefulness of it. We should give examples like how Ayar Prabhuji quoted Anand Vrindavan Prabhuji or somebody. No. Lavesh Prabhuji said, Prabhupada said, you just bow down until it becomes natural. It is very, very important to quote other acharyas' examples, number one. Number two, become a living example of an ideal person or close to ideal person. that the people can see and then understand the person is like this because they chant. We should be living examples of advertisement for holy name. This is how it works. Because we are in Kali Yuga, irrespective of the kind of mansions we live in, irrespective of number of digits in our bank account deposits, all of us will continuously be sad, longing, terribly unimpressed and frustrated. These are the characteristics we can never escape. We can never escape from. Dukhalayam ashashvatam. It will hit us every single minute. This is what we are going to bank upon. It's good that this is like this. If it was not ashashvatam and dukhalayam, convincing anybody would have been not possible. We have to believe in the magic of holy name, and we have to believe in getting convinced ourselves first. The rest of them will be taken care by the holy name, Krishna and Prabhupada. Prabhupada will manifest. I have seen it so many times. I never ever thought that a person of some quality will ever get convinced, but that person got convinced much before the other people who I thought was amicable. So it's very important to believe in that, Prabhuji. I just heard Mahesh Prabhuji's question. I heard Shila Mataji's question, and I saw how beautifully Lavesh Prabhuji answered. I just wanted to add my point. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Satyadev Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Prabhuji, same, actually, it's a connected question I have. Same thing, my elder sister is there. She is also chanting, and whenever I visit her, I explain about what all the things happening with our satsang and all that. She watches. She's actually part of Bal Govind Prabhu's group also. But one thing she always tells me that it is too higher philosophy for her, and she says that maybe she's not able to understand this in this lifetime. Maybe next lifetime I'll try to understand, but understanding this ISKCON philosophy or Krishna is the supreme God is little beyond my head. So I'm trying to convince her also. Like, I mean, she does all the things like prasadam, offering prasadam to Krishna, and she does chanting on Ekadasis. But finally, she still says that I don't know. It's very hard for me to understand this. So how do I convince that, Prabhuji?
Lovesh Prabhu, we can't hear you. Can you check your audio?
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhu, we can hear you now.
Yeah. Sorry. First, we have to understand that this is not a material knowledge. This is spiritual knowledge. So for spiritual knowledge, now we cannot convince or teach somebody like the material knowledge. Like in Bhagavatam, Vyasadeva says that Tene Brahma Hidayadi Kave. So this knowledge is transmitted through heart to heart. And Prabhupada very intelligently made a system where once by become services, people will get verified and understanding will come. Like you already told, your sister is serving already and she's attending Bal Govind Prabhu's satsang and everything is there. So don't worry, Prabhuji, it will take some time. But by doing service, we will get verified, and by getting verification, knowledge will automatically manifest in our heart. We cannot, because it's already there. Satchid Anand is the body of Krishna. The Krishna transcendental body is made up of Satchidanand, and same qualities are there in spirit soul. We are all Satchidanand on minute quantity, and because this Satchidanand in minute quantity is covered because of our past conditioning, it will take some time to clear. So as we go on serving and listening, chanting, slowly this all dirt will go and understanding will come. So it will not come from externally, it will come from internally. So the method is serving, and your sister is already serving, so you should be relaxed. Prabhupada's mission, this movement is very pure. Bal Govind Prabhu is very expert. He will take care, don't worry. just pray. And one more thing is, if you are still any doubt, prayers are the best thing which works. Forget about other people. For me, Prabhuji, once I was doing book distribution, like I remember 4 or 5 years ago, and I was carrying a very heavy bag for almost 3 years. I was going door to door, nothing, not even a single book goes. And then I told them last house, and I will go back. And I enter that house, and in that house they got a Tulsi plant in that entrance. So I just prayed there for Tulsi Maharaj, please help me. I'm struggling for last 3 years, not even a single book gone. You don't believe, Prabhuji, I went to that house, and within moments, so many books gone. And next house, more books gone. And within half an hour, I was free. I don't have any more books. I have to come back. So prayers really work, Prabhuji. I don't know. I know that all of us who have prayed, they have experienced that. It's very scientific also. So if still you have doubt, you just pray to Krishna, pray to Prabhupada, pray to Guru, and prayers will work. No problem. But don't worry, your sister is already in a perfect path. It will take some time, but surely that will come.
Yeah, that's another question, Prabhuji. Like time, I mean, should we really think that, oh, I'm running out of time? I mean, do I have enough time to attain this bhakti? Or already my sister is late 40s, so she's also sometimes worries that I don't know whether I have enough time, but whatever sins I have done, whether my lifetime is good enough to come into this bhakti. And so a lot of questions she has about whether the time I have is enough for me to
Prabhuji, actually, in one sense, we see that we are already late because we are not doing this from our childhood. But in other words, if you see Bhagavad Gita says that Sar Dharman Parityaja Mam Ekam Sharanam Vraja Aham Tvam Sar Pape Mokshishami Ma Sucha. So actually, the Krishna has to take care. So Krishna doesn't need any time. If we just remember Krishna at the time of death, that's it, finished. So if we are doing little bit also in Krishna, Bhagavad Gita, Krishna Swarpam Ase Brahmaste. So even if we do little bit, so that is accounted. So Krishna is taking care. Prabhuji, it's Krishna conscious process. Everything is in the hand of Krishna. We have to do our part, and we have to totally depend on Krishna's mercy. So don't worry, Prabhuji. Even if we are at 95 years, we just stand once and die. It's no problem. We are only gaining. We are not losing anything. So don't worry. Whatever we are, 40 years, 50 years, we just stand and we do the process properly. Have faith in the process. Have faith in our acharyas. Have faith in our gurus, present Shiksha gurus also, our Diksha gurus, everybody. Just listen to their words and try to, like Radhanath Maharaj gave one very nice example. A person peeling a potato while remembering Krishna can be a much higher level of Krishna consciousness than a person who is serving the deities in the temple directly. So we can't predict that who is at what level. I can't predict. We can't predict. Only Krishna knows the heart of everybody. So we just have to do our part very sincerely, and any small activity we do sincerely is enough. No problem, Prabhuji.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Yeah, this is really good. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Lovesh Prabhu, for expertly answering all the questions. You have so much knowledge, and just to hear from you more and more. Thank you very much. It's already 9:11, so we'll stop here for today so that we can go back to our regular activities. Hare Krishna. Danda pranam to
Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Anant Koti Vaishnavindra ki
Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Harinam ki. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Lovesh Prabhu, you are like a Hanuman Prabhuji. You don't know the real strength. Now we start speaking, then we got to know, wow, Lovesh Prabhu has so much knowledge. We need to have more sessions from Lovesh Prabhu.
No, Prabhuji, I just read Bhagavatam. I don't know anything.
See, it's a perfect example of service, Prabhuji, service, and Krishna will automatically show mercy on people.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Just have faith. Finish, Prabhuji. That's it.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.